You know what's funny? When you watch all these videos on YouTube, you see people with like their arm always out because everybody's walking around with a recording stick. So here I am in my living room, giving you a 360-degree view of what is up and where I live. We're going to go outside and we're going to talk about something that I think is really interesting that I've realized today. Like my blue blockers, Dave Asprey blue blockers. Anyway, we're going to go outside and we're going to talk about something. It's called the in-between state. And I think it's what I realized today after a really, really good meditation session. Now let's actually go this way. Okay, we'll go in the front. It's beautiful today. I can tell you something about Georgia, right? It's humid July and August, and then the beginning of September comes, and then all of a sudden it's like incredibly nice and barely hot and everything else. So we're gonna go for a little walk, just a little walk around the hood for a minute, and we're gonna talk about the in-between state. Do you know what the in-between state is? It's the state that the world is in right now. We're in between control and God knows what more control. We're in between what COVID is and potentially what COVID could be. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going on. And I think everybody is in this like in-between state, this in-between state of where are we at? What are we doing? And most importantly, where are we going? So when I was meditating today, I thought to myself, man, I am in this like in-between state along with everybody else. And I thought about how my life right now is in an in-between state. Well, I'm not in a relationship, which means I'm in between old relationship and potential new relationship in the future. I am not coaching as much because I'm just not getting the inquiries I used to get because people are confused about whether or not they should be talking to people out and about. And I think for those of you that are confused, you need to get your ass out there. You need to hire me as a coach because the competition is minimal right now. Nobody's talking to anybody. So the fact is, if you work on those skills, you certainly will be one of the few people that are actually really good at it. So I feel like I'm in an in-between state. I'm in between that and where my business develops, that side of my business, the coaching side goes in the future. I've been learning how to trade, and I've been trading for 3 years, and I know how to trade, and I think right now I'm in between. I'm right now in between really exploding in trading and trusting my system and just kind of nervous about my system. And I know my system works because I've looked at it and I've proven and I've back tested it, but I'm just still kind of like, tentative at times about it. So I feel like I'm in an in-between state with that. My shoulder blew out on that bird accident, and right now I'm just kind of in between not working out and wanting to work out and back from working out. So I feel like my whole life is in between. I'm living in Georgia. I'm living in Atlanta. I don't even know if I'm going to stay in Atlanta. I have no idea. It's beautiful here and it's a really great place to live, but I can go live anywhere as long as I'm close enough to my daughter to be able to see her and hop on a plane. And I've never lived in such an in-between state like this. I've never felt like this in my life. I've never felt like, wow. It's like I've been in an in-between state for the last year. Everything that I'm at, everywhere, whoa, that almost fell. Sorry about that, folks. Probably made you sick when you watched that one, huh? Like all of a sudden I dropped out of nowhere. I just feel like I'm just in between. I'm in between. Like I'm in my life right now. I'm in my body, but I'm in between what I used to be and what I am becoming. And I think that's the biggest thing. God, that hurt. Whatever that thing I stepped on. That's what I feel like. I feel like I am in between what I once was and what I'm turning into. And that's pretty cool. That's a really cool thing to think about, right? And I want to ask you, how do you feel? Because the world is in between. Because a lot of people always talk about, God, I really want it to go back to the way it was. It's not going back to the way it was. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's not, and I wish it was. I wish people would feel free. I wish COVID never existed, and we just had a world where people just bopped around and hung out and embraced and did all that other thing. But this is a new world. This is the way the world is. We're in between what the world used to be and what the world is going to be, and nobody knows what it's going to be. So I feel like that's where I'm at. I feel like I'm just in this like really in between state. I've done so much work over the past year to really move forward, work on some blocks, work on things that I've needed to work on. I've spent the last year pretty much by myself. Last night I sat home and I watched Hard Knocks, New York Jets, 2010. I watched some old Hard Knocks episodes, and I just kind of hung out by myself, and I realized, man, I've become a loner. And the reason why I've become a loner is because I'm in an in-between stage right now. Because what I'm doing is I'm working on myself, I'm growing as a soul, I'm growing as a being. And by growing as a being and growing as a soul, what happens is you want to spend a lot of time by yourself, because at the other end of the in-between stage is the new you. So when you recognize the fact that the old you is no longer there, and you recognize that you're in this like state of limbo, you know, what I call the in-between stage, you start to think to yourself, you know what, this is really, really, really fascinating, because I am truly going to be something entirely different than I've ever been before. And that, to me, is something that is so exciting. So when you feel stuck, I want you to think, and I want to ask yourself, am I stuck? Or am I actually doing the work and I'm just in the in-between stage of my life right now? Because I feel like the whole world, like I said, is in an in-between stage. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you today, and hope you're having a great Labor Day Sunday weekend.